Hello. Now today we are discussing about the devastating effect of the war from the story Old Man at the Bridge written by Ernest Hemingway. The Old Man at the Bridge is a sensitive story about refugee displayed by the Spanish Civil War during 1936 to 1939. The opponents were the Republicans who backed the elected leftist government of Spanish and Spanish fascists who were extreme rightist intent on overthrowing the government. The fascists ultimately won. Modern war makes man completely helpless. The losses in home and belongings, he comes to a place unknown to him, penniless. He entirely depends on state help. In modern wars, civilians as well as members of the armed forces suffer. Armed forces are moved here and there. They attack civilians. Civilians are killed and their houses are destroyed by bombs. They are thrown into the street. They become homeless. Father, son, and brother are killed. Children become orphans. Women become widows and mothers and fathers without son. Industries and crops are destroyed. Though it is the duty of the soldier to fight, yet they are killed for the sake of the head of the nations. The soldiers of different nations have no enmity among themselves, but in the battlefield they are at daggers drawn with each other. The in olden days, wars were fought in battlefields with the soldiers of the two sides standing in front of one another. Fighting was restricted to the battlefields. Civilians were not much affected by wars. It is not so in modern wars. Whole cities are destroyed by bombardment. Bombs are dropped by airplanes and people become helpless. Weapons used are also more deadly, even chemical weapons are also used. There is fire everywhere. People cannot do anything to save themselves. Electricity supply, water supply get damaged. Medical facilities are also affected. Thus, people became helpless. The political background of the story Old Man at the Sea uh, is the Spanish Civil War, which was fought between the Republicans who were loyal to the elected leftist government of Spain and the Spanish fascists who were extreme rightist and wanted to overthrow the government. In Spain, civil war fought between the Republicans and the Spanish fascists. The old man as well as the other people were displaced from their home, so they suffered a lot. This fact is revealed from the description made in the story that the people were crossing the Pentagon Bridge built on the river embraced by carts and the trucks. Some men and women, children and peasants were plodding in the ankle deep dust to cross the bridge. The story, The Old Man at the Bridge, is a sensitive story about refugees displaced by war. Innocent people suffer a lot. The old man was most innocent. He had no politics. He did not want to leave the city. His interest was only in his animals. He was forced to leave the city because of artillery. He repeats the sentence, I was only taking care of animals. He does not say this to the narrator, but just speaks out his feelings. He suggested that he was not interested in fighting or in politics, yet he became a victim of the war. He lost his animals he loved most. The narrator says that one could not help him in any way. It was Easter Sunday. The fascists were advancing towards Ebro. Soon fighting was expected to begin. The sky was darkened with clouds, so the fascist plans were not flying for bombardment. This was a happy sign for the old man. His animals would not die due to bombardment. The old man believed that cats could look after themselves, so he was sure the cat would be safe. The old man had nothing to worry about except his animals. He had no relatives or friends. His animals were his sole interest in life. The old man did not even care for himself. The fact that he could not move and would soon be left alone did not worry him. Thus, on the whole, we can say that the story Old Man at the Bridge by Ernest Hemingway is a sensitive story about refugees displaced by the war. And in any kind of war, innocent people are suffered a lot. The same as the old man was most innocent. The people of any city or any country are not more interested in politics and war, but they were forced to leave the city or their country for just because of the artillery of the militants. In this story, thus Hemingway totally try to describe the agony of the suffering people or the innocent people of a country or of a city with whom the other city or other country indulge in war. And in all types of war, especially in modern war, Hemingway described it in his story that in modern war there is no limits. In ancient times, whenever there is a war, there is always a limited area which is called battlefield, and the war were held in the battlefields, and both the armies are in front of themselves. The normal people and the innocent people of a city or of a country are not much affected by the war. But in modern times, for the because of the bombs, atom bombs, and chemical bombs, all these are very dangerous to the common people who really not interested in any kind of war, but they have to suffer more than the politicians and the stakeholders. Thus, this is the very sensitive and emotional story by Hemingway. Thank you.